Hello everybody and welcome to another video from the holy city of Jerusalem. And I'm over here going to visit a specific synagogue that belongs to one of the most radical anti-Zionist ultra-Orthodox groups that exists in this country, called Neturei Karta. So, I don't know, I'm a little bit nervous, so I brought a friend over here.
Hello guys.
As a backup, Stav, or Steve, we call him sometimes. You can call him Steve, he's the next judo champion.
Yeah, of course.
So if we get into any trouble, I have some backup over here. But just to tell you a little bit about the Ultra-Orthodox, if you don't know what that is, we have here in Israel secular Jews, like myself, like my buddy over here. We grew up in central Israel in the Tel Aviv area. We don't really practice any religious practices. Maybe we celebrate some holidays, but nothing more than that. And then you have the Orthodox Jews, who they'll wear a kippah, a yarmulke on their head, and they'll be religious, that they believe in God, they pray and so forth, but they will maybe like dress normally. They can wear jeans, things like that. So they look a lot more sort of the way I would. And then you have the Ultra-Orthodox. Those are the guys all in black with the black hats. And those are the people who live here in this neighborhood called Mea Shearim in Jerusalem. תגיד, פה כדאי לנו להסתובב עם כיפה, אם אנחנו הולכים לשכונות היותר מרכזיות ממאה שערים? כן?
זה בסדר?
זה בסדר?
אני מעדיף, אנחנו מעדיפים אם יש פה...
כן, אנחנו רוצים ללכת לשכונות של
מאה שערים,
נטורי קרתא וזה, לחפש אותם.
לא יודע, פה זה מאה שערים, זה החסידים שנגיד, הם לא לוקחים מהמדינה יכול להיות כסף, בשיטה, אבל לא שהם יעשו הפגנות נגד היהודים, כמו המשוגעים האלה של נטורי קרתא. הם לא כאילו לוקחים כסף במדינה, בשיטה, בסדר. כן. אבל לא שהם עכשיו יהיו לטובת הערבים נגד היהודים.
וואלה, זה לא מה שאני מכיר, כאילו. כאילו זה לא מה שמספרים לנו, אתה מבין? עליהם.
הם לא שם בכלל.
גם הרבה בעלי תשובה שפעם חשבו שזה מציאות אחרת, כאילו החרדים.
אתה בעל תשובה?
כן.
אתה יכול לדעת מאיפה אתה?
במקור פתח תקווה.
ואיך, למה חזרת בתשובה?
אני לא יודע.
וזה, לאנשים פה אין סמארטפון, אה?
מה פתאום?
מה זה? למה בעצם יש לך כזה טלפון?
אני אסביר לך מה זה, איכות חיים אחרת. מה, אתה חולק עליי?
הופה.
לא, אתה רואה. באוטובוס, אתה רואה במסעדות אפילו יוצאים משפחה, אז כולם משחקים עם הדבר, מכורים עם הדבר. אבל כשאנחנו בלי הדבר הזה, אין לי כלום. כשאני מגיע לבית, עם זה אין לי מספיק, רק להתקשר. שעון מעורר ולהתקשר, אין לי כלום. באמת, אין לי כלום. אז זאת אומרת שאני הולך ברחוב, אני חושב, מתבונן, סתם. גר לך את הראש. אז אני אומר, היתרונות שיש לי בדבר הזה, לדעתי, הוא בהמון מאשר מהסמארטפון. אז נכון, לבנק אני כאבי ראש, לקופת חולים כאבי ראש, אבל האיכות זמן והזמן שנשאר לי בלי הסמארטפון, הוא שווה לנו חיי משפחה עם הילדים, עם האישה, עם הכל, יישוב הדעת, צפינות הדעת. ואומר לך גם דוגרי, למשל המלחמה, לא ראיתי כלום. אם הייתי רואה, אמרו לי, זה זוועות מזעזעות, אני אומר. לא, אני שומע, אני מכוער, אני משתתף.
כן, אבל אתה לא נכנס לזה.
אבל כשאני נכנס לזה הכל, זה רק פוגע בנפש. כל הדברים הלא טובים שלו, צרות הרוגים, זה לא דברים. לשמוע כבר זה מסמר שיער. אז אני אומר, לכן אני מאוד גאה בדבר הזה.
אתה רוצה להראות לנו פה את הישיבה? אפשר להיכנס?
כן, זה בסדר.
אוקיי. באמצע שיעור, אבל בואו.
Alright, here. So we're going to see the yeshiva here in Jerusalem for people who were not, didn't grow up religious, people who became religious. As time went by, they decided they wanted to live a more religious lifestyle without smartphones. בלי סמארטפונים גם?
אז רגע, יש פה שיעור עכשיו.
Okay, so there's a lesson going on now.
כן.
So we have someone here studying. לא, אין לי. אתה יכול להביא לי? So to enter here, we need to put on a kippah, a yarmulke. I didn't have one with me, but our friend here is bringing us one. איך קוראים לך?
אני יוסף סוויסה.
יוסף סוויסה. נעים מאוד. אני אלק, אוקיי.
יש פה שיעור של הרב יעקב הלל. הרב יעקב הלל הוא מוכר, הוא רב גדול בציבור החרדי. יש לו מלא כוללים וישיבות, פה זה הישיבה שלו גם. הוא עשה מושר שיעור. אתם יכולים להיכנס אליו? כן. תסתכלו, תראו את השיעור.
Just have to be quiet here. Not to disturb the lesson, but we get to see a little bit.
שהם מצליחים. פתאום רואים, לא? ובואו עושים ניסים נפלאות. ומה זה ההפגנות? להרוס את מדינת ישראל. הם רוצים להרוס את המדינה. כי הרי הם הקימו את זה לעקור את הדת. פתאום...
So that was interesting. A very influential rabbi here at this yeshiva, speaking against the protests that were taking place here in Israel for months against reforms that were planned by the government. That seems like old news now because of the war that's taking place with Hamas. Everyone's kind of forgotten about it, but it was the main story here in Israel for a very long time. So he had some things to say about that. It was interesting to listen. מברך אותנו.
בוא נבקש, בוא ננסה.
מה זה אומר? אני לא יודע.
מה זה אומר? מילה שלו שיוצאת מהפה שלו.
אוקיי.
ישירות לשמיים, מקבלים מה שהם רוצים.
וואלה.
לאדם ש-75 שנה רק לומד תורה.
הבנתי.
ומחזיק 3,000 תלמידים.
כן.
כל דבר, כן.
מעניין. מה אומר? אתה גם חוזר בתשובה?
כן.
מאיפה?
אני פה מירושלים.
מירושלים. כמה זמן אתה לומד פה?
חצי שנה.
חצי שנה? אז זה לא הרבה.
לא.
מה למדת בחצי שנה?
וואו. ככה הרבה.
כן, לומדים המון.
המון.
וואלה. כמו מה נגיד?
כמו מה? אם זה תורה, בין אם זה לשנות תלמידות, יותר
כן.
דרך ארץ.
דברים לחיים גם.
ברור. הערכים.
מעניין?
זה המטרה שאני פה.
יפה?
בשם.
מגניב אחי. So he's telling us here that we can get a blessing from the rabbi if we get close. מה צריך לעשות בשביל לקבל את הברכה?
ננסה לבקש.
כן? איך זה נראה הברכה? אהלן, שלום. תודה. תודה. כן, יד זה שווה משהו?
זה שווה הרבה.
כן? אוקיי. תודה. לא כולם זוכים? לא כולם זוכים ליד, אוקיי. See, not everyone gets a handshake. It's worth quite a lot. From the Rabbi. There he is. השכונות של הנטורי קרתא וזה של הקיצוניים.
שם, יותר למטה.
כן?
זה לא דוגמה לכולם.
אני מבין שזה לא כולם.
קיצוניים, כמו שאמר זה.
ואם אנחנו הולכים שם בסדר, אנחנו לא מסוכן משהו, לא עושה לנו כלום.
לא, שום דבר.
שום דבר? אוקיי.
תהיו בהלם מהדגלי פלסטין, אבל זה קיצוניים, אחי.
יש הרבה שם או שקצת?
זה לא מסמל את היהודים לדעתי.
Okay. Blessing from the Rebbe. I'm happy. That's a good way to start the day. He's one of the most important rabbis here in Jerusalem. We as secular Jews, we don't know who he is until we met him now. But like for anyone who comes from the Ultra-Orthodox world, a person like that, he's like a celebrity. So we're in the entrance to the neighborhood now. And it says over here, please do not pass in our neighborhood in immodest attire. So it says there, you need to have a closed shirt, long sleeves, a long skirt if you're a woman. Oh, in So you have here, these are Palestinian flags. I mean, they could have done better with the colors, but you can tell the shape. Palestinian flag. Maybe they should get a graffiti artist just to fill in the colors, make it look a little nicer, but the point is made.
You want to say something?
See here. Here in Hebrew, no passage for Zionists. En ma'avar letzionim. It's hard to read because it's white on black. You have here a lot of the old style obituaries for people who passed away here in the community where everyone can see them, especially when you have a lot of people who don't have smartphones, so they may not communicate as much. So they put the signs up over here. Another flag of Palestine and an X on a Star of David.
Another one?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, more flags, yeah. I guess because it's blue, so that's supposed to be like an Israeli Star of David because these people are Jewish, of course. So they wouldn't X off themselves, I suppose. Here's another one. Oh, this one is more clearly a flag of Israel that has an X on it. You see?
Oh my God.
Passage for Zionists is absolutely forbidden.
Oh my God.
shaking right now.
I don't think they're enforcing this prohibition violently, so it's okay. Here's another interesting sign that says Zionists are Amalekites. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, Amalekites, the Amalekim, are the historic enemies of the Jewish people in the Bible, although we don't have any reference to them as a people in history, so it's just sort of a name for the enemies of the Jewish people in general. So it's saying there that the Zionists are the enemies of the Jewish people in that little writing that we saw there. This is a soup house for the elderly people that you have here. All these ultra-Orthodox communities are very community-oriented, always. Much more than the secular communities. And that's one of the advantages that they have, that they really look after each other in the community.
גלמוד זה אחד מוזנח, בדד, שכולם נטשו אותו, ושאין לו כלום. אז כאילו, פעם ראשונה אני רואה את זה. שכנים ולגלמודים. אוקיי.
So also for people who are by themselves and lonely, then they can come here and they can get some help as well. And it says here, inciting to enter the military on the sign. Citing something that was said by Ovadia Yosef, although he wasn't exactly one of those rabbis who was categorically against going into the military. He had kind of differing opinions on that, but that's certainly the interpretation that they are promoting here in this neighborhood. פה זה הכניסה של הזה. צלם!
צלם אותי גם, מה?
אתה בעד זה? נגד זה?
למה אתה צריך לצלם את זה?
אתה אומר שזה לא מייצג.
זה לא מייצג שום דבר.
לא מייצג? מי זה? אבל אני רואה את זה בכל מקום.
יש הרבה ילדים.
That guy and also some of the people that we met earlier were constantly saying that the people who put out those type of flags here, they're the minority in the neighborhood. Most of the people here don't agree with them. And he was telling me, no, don't film. Like, who are you showing this to? Why are you filming this? But I say that there are a lot of these signs over here. It's not one or two, it's many. This is another one. It says here, graffiti, Zionists. Another Palestinian flag over there. So it's not a few. A Jew is not a Zionist, it says, on a Palestinian flag, and then the next here on an Israeli flag. Zionists are Nazis. This one they have a bit in Arabic also. A sticker. Damn Zionists, your end is near.
Amazing.
So to think that we came all the way here just to find this sort of old synagogue, Bet Midrash, place where you study. Not much going on here, but we did see a lot of things along the way, right? Let's go check out some of the commercial areas here in the neighborhood. So this is the type of business you will only find in an ultra-Orthodox neighborhood, which is renewing and cleaning hats. That's what they do over here. They would go out of business in Tel Aviv, I think, very fast. But here they have a lot of business, so it's good. One thing that's very interesting in ultra-Orthodox communities is these are families that have a ton of kids. So you always see many strollers outside because they don't have room for all of them inside the house. So we have more of them over here. It's the type of thing nobody would steal, but you see them everywhere. And the main reason is because there's a mitzvah, something that you're supposed to do religiously, which is to have a lot of children, according to the religion. And that's why you see here families with 6, 7, 8, or 10 kids even. 25 shekels for a family pizza. In Tel Aviv it would cost 3 times that price. הלאה, אחי. מגש משפחתי זה 25 שקל? איך זה כזה זול? גבינה סינתטית? מה?
לא, עמק.
איך זה כזה? בתל אביב זה עולה 70-80 שקל.
מה נגיד לך?
זה נפלאות מאה שערים, חביבי. מה אתה אומר על זה? ב-30 שקל? שווה, נכון? These are religious study books. It's mostly usually called Gemara. Those are interpretations of the Bible, of the Torah, which are studied very, very extensively. I mean, the people in these religious study centers, they study their whole lives, these interpretations from these books. They go over them, they argue what it means, and so forth. And it's very, very critical for understanding how various groups view the world. I'll give you an example regarding Neturei Karta. You may be asking yourself, why? Why is this group so anti-Zionist among the Ultra-Orthodox community when some of the groups there are not? And one of the main reasons is a specific interpretation of several lines in the Bible regarding the return to the land of Israel, which say, according to their interpretation, that you're not allowed to do it until the Messiah comes. If you try to force the issue in any way by actually taking proactive action to try to build, to create, to do anything like that, then that is against God's will. You're not supposed to do it. You are tempting the nations, as it's called, Hitgarut ba'umot, which you're not supposed to do, according to their interpretation. But then you have others who have a different interpretation. So it all comes down to how they view those books that we saw over there that can completely change your worldview. יכול לצלם את עצמי, אתה רואה? אז אני יכול לראות. הנה אתה. אתה מפה?
לא, I'm America.
America, you're from the US.
Yes.
You live here.
Yeah, sometime now, about 15 years.
15 years? Because I'm doing a blog about Mea Shearim. So I'm showing people the neighborhood. Is there something you want to tell me that I should know about this place?
Mea Shearim. It is Mea Shearim. Coming from America, so something that came to me, I realized how much they care for each other.
Because the people here, they don't have that much money, but they're always donating. You have these boxes donating for people in need.
Yeah, it's very beautiful, Mom, and it's incredible the amount of the people I see that people who are collecting money come to our neighborhood. They don't. They know that here they're concerned for each other and they give to each other. I see people who don't have any money and they still give to each other.
Right.
And anyways, money doesn't even give happiness. Being happy with you makes you happy. Trusting in Hashem, living with Hashem, that's what gives the true happiness. It gives to serenity, and you see chesed from Hashem. Hashem helps you more and more as you're doing the right thing. The more and more chesed you see, and Hashem shows you openly how much He's caring for you, one way or another, and it's amazing. It's an amazing lifestyle I see that they live here.
So I have a question.
Yes.
We saw in some of the neighborhoods that belong to groups like Neturei Karta, where there's like a bunch of
You don't have to mention that part. I think.
My question is here in Mea Shearim.
No, I say this is that I think what they are holding on to is something of old, something that there used to be. Like you've seen people with Zionistic mentalities in the past who tried challenging Orthodox Judaism the way it is.
Can those two things go together, Zionism and Orthodox Judaism?
The people who, if you knew history a little bit, you could see that it wasn't always so simple. Like that idea that there wasn't such a. It was a a gray area. So we could say also a smartphone. You could say also a smartphone is a little bit of a gray area.
Okay,
But the fact that they don't make any big deal about it is just because there's Hasidic people in America who also have smartphones and they need money. Right. But I understand them. That's great. That's their. Or maybe, or no, or I think it's something better. Let's look at it more of a positive light. The rabbis back in the day had more kaya, had more strength. They could say, "That's it. Zionism bad." My father was an army chaplain in America. I liked the army. I came into the Masrada Gius right over here. I told them, "Come take me." It was on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
I thought because I saw all these Haredi people in uniform.
Right.
So that's called a gray area. And actually, Baruch Hashem, they said They said wait till come on Sunday, and then I already changed my mind. But I'm very happy that I didn't go to the army. I'm happy because anyways, whatever reason, I just am happy with that life choice. But it could have led to confusion. So the only time that that an Orthodox person is going to make a big deal about something is when it leads to confusion. That's why you see here also people make complaints about people who have smartphones.
What made you come here then?
Oh, I saw that America had become spiritually bankrupt, and
The Haredim.
No, just the area became spiritually bankrupt. I felt like
Who
it's
became
very-
spiritually bankrupt? The country?
The area. I saw that people were. Actually, I was pretty smart back then already. At the age of 14, I already saw. I just wasn't happy with life. I wasn't happy. There wasn't.
But you came to live here in a country. Do you feel a connection to the city here, the religion, the country? Like,
Oh, I like the fact that there's so many. Oh, thank you. It's a good question. I like the fact that there's that it's a place of neshamas, that people are trying to represent their neshama on different ways. You see, look, for example, you're trying to spread something good, to try to find something in Mea Shearim. Like, I see everyone on their level is representing what they have inside, their neshama, a beautiful neshama, and it's just so. It's a nation of neshamas. That's how I call Am Yisrael. And with that, you should be matzliach.
all right, my friend. Yeah.
Go through.
Thank
Go
you
to
very
nation of
much.
neshamas. Yisrael Meir.
Yisrael Meir showing us a bit about Mea Shearim and Ultra-Orthodox life, some stuff I didn't know about. So thank you very much for
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to
Enjoy. Thank you. All right, so that was a bit of the Mea Shearim neighborhood. We saw a bunch of different ultra-Orthodox communities over there. Time to head back to Tel Aviv. I think we can take the kippahs off now.
Yeah, let's take it.
That's it.
Finished.
Done.
Done.
But I'll keep this as a souvenir from this video. It was a fun video to make. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.